So by now you've probably heard about the Trump administration supporting illegal aliens with no criminal records. And at Walkaway, we all have different opinions on immigration, who should be deported, who shouldn't. But there's one thing, at least, that we can all agree on, which is that the truth is paramount. And that legacy media often spins the truth in order to suit their narrative. So, a lot of times when you hear legacy media talk about Trump deporting people with no criminal record, it will be framed as if we were the victims of some type of bait and switch. Trump promised to go after the worst of the worst, but now look what he's doing. He's going after mothers and children and hardworking fathers. The reality of the situation is that the Trump administration is still targeting the worst of the worst, targeting public safety threats. But they've been clear since day one that if you are here illegally, you are subject to deportation. In fact, here's Tom Homan saying that the day after inauguration, that everyone's on the table for deportation if they're here illegally.
But let me be clear. It's not only public safety threats that will be arrested.
And he goes on to say that they are targeting public safety threats, but it is ICE's job, if you're here illegally, to arrest and process you for deportation. On top of that, sanctuary cities actually cause more collateral arrests, more arrests of illegals who have no criminal convictions. And here's how that happens. Sanctuary cities refuse to cooperate with ICE. So when they have someone in custody who's here legally and has been picked up on an offense, instead of calling up ICE and saying, hey, we've got this person in detention, we're going to release him at this date and time, why don't you send a couple agents to come pick him up? They don't do that. Instead, they release the public safety threat back into the community, which is unsafe for everyone. But ICE isn't just going to forget about that suspect. ICE is aware of these illegals. Last year, ICE reported that there were at least 435,000 illegal aliens with criminal convictions who were roaming the country. And that's at least. They're aware that these people exist. They know who these people are. And they're not going to forget about them just because sanctuary cities refuse to cooperate. So now, instead of sending 1 or 2 agents to the detention center to pick up the suspect, they have to send in groups of agents to the sanctuary city, to the community, in order to find the suspect or suspects. And in the process of looking for those individuals, they're going to come across a lot more individuals who are here illegally but don't have criminal convictions. But again, it's their job to arrest and process them for deportation. It is not their job to look the other way and pretend that they don't see it. So because sanctuary cities refuse to cooperate, they end up with more ICE agents in their communities. When ICE showed up on June 6th in Los Angeles, they were here to bust a garment warehouse that was actually a money laundering operation, and they arrested multiple individuals who are public safety threats. And you can see that on dhs.gov. They were not here to bust the mom and the dad and the children. On top of that, everything that you hear the media talk about when it comes to Donald Trump, that is something that Obama did for 8 years, and mostly no one cared. Here's Time magazine reporting that 2/3 of the people that Obama deported had no criminal records. In fact, Obama went so far as to reverse a Bush-era policy. If you were picked up on a nonviolent offense and you were here illegally, Bush just had you deported. He didn't charge you. In 90% of the cases where someone is here illegally and committed a nonviolent offense like a traffic violation, Obama decided that they were not only going to deport you, but also charge you. And that results in you being unable to enter the country for 5 years. Okay, here's the ACLU reporting that 65% of the people that Obama deported in a single year had no criminal convictions. In fact, the ACLU reported on a lot that Obama did that sounds kind of familiar to the reporting that we're hearing now. Here's the ACLU saying that Obama relied heavily on things called reinstatements and expedited removal. Expedited removal was signed into law by Bill Clinton, and it allows for the speedy removal of people without them seeing an immigration judge. So instead of going before a judge and pleading your case, you actually get deported by an immigration official. You don't even have a lawyer. Okay, that's something that Bill Clinton signed into law and Obama used heavily. Here's the ACLU reporting that in a single year, 70% of the people that Obama deported were deported under expedited removal or reinstatements of old orders. Here's Pew Research saying that in a single year, 83% of the people that Obama deported did not get a hearing in front of a judge. Here's the ACLU saying that Obama was denying asylum seekers the right to plead their case in front of an immigration judge in a federal court. And here's the ACLU even saying that Obama was having children represent themselves in immigration court. I'm not saying that any of this is good or bad. I'm simply saying that it happened and the media mostly ignored it because it was Obama. But here we have Trump in office and everything he does is awful and evil. And so the media is ignoring nothing and in fact even spinning it to suit their narrative. They are programming you for selective outrage. You can think whatever you want about immigration, who we should go after, who should be allowed to stay, how we should handle this, but you at least should know the truth and that you are being manipulated.